Board games, board games, it's what I'm gonna talk about. Board games, board games, I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this streaming with a little bit of singing, and today, oh well, I'm gonna talk about what won the ELL deck design competition, and I think it's a prediction that this is a game that you will enjoy. I hope that it will be a game that is employed in the manner of giving you fun. Anyway, this is the game that won the LDIC Game Design Competition. It's what I'm talking about. LDIC Game Design Competition. I'm not gonna shout. Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. Hello, Jess. You are, as always, lovely. No, you have to enter the competition to win it. You have not won. And apparently I have some fans in Bangkok. Thank you very much. That is lovely to hear. How did that happen? Of course, what is happening today? It is 10 a.m. UK time. As always, it's time for Busy Beats and Board Game Bladder. But what is our main topic today? Well, if you've seen the title of the video, it's the winner. It's the winner of the LDEC Game Design Competition. I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about why I think it's a great game. And hopefully I'll be able to get, you can't quite see it, but I've got this overhead camera that's jury-rigged together. And hopefully I'll be able to get my mobile phone on and play it a couple of times. So you will be able to learn the game and give it a go. If you already have an LDEC, it's something that you could play today. It's something super simple, it's super approachable, and I think that it's super versatile. It can be played in a simple mode, it can be played in a complex epic mode, and I'm really privileged to have so many people contributing their games. Just says, I'll let some friends listen to the song you sent me. Now they want Bez merchandise and free tickets to the concert. That's very cute. And yes, if you're on 5% battery, you might want to plug in or something. But I do want to give a shout out, first of all, to everyone who entered the competition. I just want to celebrate everyone who submitted something. I think that there were people who submitted some really intricate word games that made you really ponder, how am I going to analyze this? There was a solitaire game where it actually had a theme. Despite the fact that these cards are just 2 letters, there was an actual theme of shooting down things and kind of protecting yourself in a cooperative manner. There were a few speed games that were super quick and super fun, and that ties into my personal tastes. I tried to make sure that I was letting other people play them enough, though. I didn't want it to be just what I personally enjoy the best. I wanted it to be what other people would enjoy the most as well. Hello, good morning, Tom Cauldron, one of the entrants, and a lovely game that you chucked in. And I want to, again, keep celebrating everyone and thank everyone for all their contributions. But, yeah. A quick... Sorry, Jess. Apparently there's electricity problems. But I'm going to do a bit of further ado, but I am going to go through it quite quickly. Let's go to recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. Yesterday, I managed to get to the bank and make a transfer, so I've got my money where it needs to be, and I also did some shopping, bought some stuff to make a big stir fry today because I've got 2 people coming over, which I'm excited about. I also, in the evening, had say, oh, do you want to play some real-time games now? I'm aware that there's a lot of turn-based games that I've got to play and on Board Game Arena, but yeah, the thing about these real-time games is, say, it was like, oh, we'll just play them and then we'll play them randomly. And when you play a turn-based game, it feels like you want to actually understand the rules and understand what's going on. But just poking around and pressing randomly and chatting whilst you are um, playing something, and even if you don't understand it, you'll get to the end. Like, I played Race to the Galaxy, and then I got to the end and I was, oh, that seems good, but I do still need to read the instructions or watch a video to actually understand what's going on. It's really interesting. I mean, at the end of Board Game Arena, you know that you played correctly, but you're not sure what the rules are. As opposed to at the end of a physical board game, you know the rules you played by because you were the one to enforce it, but you're not sure if you played correctly. It's the complete opposite. And so that's my recent highlights. Yeah, just having a walk, enjoyed some sunlight, watched a bit of clouds passing by. Good times. How about you? What are your recent highlights? And let's, of course, talk about brilliant things. Brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? I'm going to say just people working together to tie in with the theme of today, the ELL deck design competition. Just people are working together, kind of someone makes something and then someone else gets inspired by it, and then, like in this instance, like I made the deck and then other people get inspired by it and make things like categorical or unfinishable or biddable, and then I go back and I do a little bit of development work, but like it's, and then nowadays I'm working with other people like Chris, who's making beautiful letter shapes for Grabble, and Miles, who's making beautiful letter shapes for Couple, and even Dina, who's doing some marketing, and Matt, who's helping me a little bit with logistics. I think anything, working together, teamwork, kind of focusing on one thing, I think that is a brilliant thing. And so I want to say again, thank you everyone for all your energy and all your things. Jess says, I went to a great party last night, outside at a cool music studio, had no alcohol but met interesting people and learnt about some US culture and Malaysian culture. That's really cool. Malaysia, lovely place, especially Penang. That's a lovely island. Anyway, let's see if I can get So, actually, you know what? I'm going to do even more ado. And again, today is all about the winner, but I don't want to take away from all the other entrants. This year, my process was August. I got all the games. A few weeks, I played all the games with Chris and Layla, and I think one of them might have needed 4 people, so I got someone else involved. I played one of them, the cooperative one, online with Sarah from Big Girl Games. And there were a few solo ones that I just played on my own. I think that as time went on, it was based with Friday daytime playtesting coming out. I went back to Friday daytime playtesting being the main source of judging. And then we found out that there were some games that were dropped from consideration just because they didn't quite have the they were brilliant ideas, but there was something that didn't quite work about them. There were some ideas that worked, but then it felt like, oh, there's a bit too many rules for what should be a simple, fun speed game. And there's a bit too little strategy for the amount of rules that there are. I have written up the rules. I'm going to in the end, I only rewrote the rules to a couple, and then in the process, based on everyone's feedback, it became increasingly obvious what the number one game should be. And drumroll, if we could have some like drumroll emoticons, the drumroll for the game that I believe is the best game that was submitted in, let me make a different banner. I do apologize. Drum roll, please. The winner of this year's LDEC design competition, the name of it is Dwindle. Thank you, Jess. Dwindle by Joseph Kelly. And let me tell you about Dwindle by Joseph Kelly. This is where it would be helpful to have more than just one person. Dwindle is a solo game for the LDEC. Each turn, you are making words in what is probably the most intuitive way. So you're using at most one letter from each card, and you're arranging them left to right. And so this would, there we go. Hot. That's a word, hot, if you can. So in this game, that's, sure, it's a thing that we've seen many, many times. What makes this game worth playing? Why is this game the winner? Well, firstly, it had a genius mechanism behind it, where in your words, if you use the lower letter, which is the more complicated one, your card gets replaced with something with a lower letter. So for example, if you've got to 5, if the card has a 5 on it and I manage to use this D, I'll get another card that has a 4 on it. And then a 4 will go down to a 3, a 3 goes down to a 2, a 2 goes down to a 1, and a 1 gets removed. And that's the goal of the game. Originally, it was just to get the fewest numbers in your hand as you could after a set number of rounds. But it was apparent that getting rid of cards is such a satisfying experience that that should be tied to the endgame trigger. Conversely, for the top letters, if you use the top letter, it just stays the same because at least you've used it. And if you do not use it at all, it goes up. So it's lower letters, it goes down. Top letters, it stays the same. Don't use it at all, it goes up. And there's definitely a bit of interesting strategy. Like, yeah, I don't want to ruin it for those people who want to discover the strategy on their own, but it's not just a case of, okay, how many do I send downwards and how many do I send upwards? And the difference between those two numbers is the worth of my turn. Because obviously, well, the game does finish when you've got 3 cards in hand. So those final 3 cards, they could be 5s or they could be 1s, and either way you've still won. If you're playing competitively, if you're trying to give yourself a challenge, then you're trying to do it in as few turns as possible. And thank you, Jess, for the congratulations, who says, congratulations to Dwindle and Joseph Kelly. And Tom says, I remember this looked strong when you first tried it on a sunny day in your garden. Yeah, and it, with a few simple tweaks. Yeah, let me actually talk about the history of the game a tiny bit. The original version of the game, bunch of cards, you pick up a certain number, you've got to divvy it up, and this was actually the separation of the different numbers. So you've got to separate all the 5s from all the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, based on the number at the bottom. And then grabbing the lower letter, grabbing the top letter, this was the only part in my mind that I was like, is this too much? Is this a tricky thing. Will people understand this intuitively? Is this too much manual dexterity? At a certain point, I got rid of the shuffling partially because of the manual dexterity. And yes, it means that in theory there's additional strategy if you want to have a perfect memory of remembering everything that's going to go into your discard pile because you just flip it over. But the discard piles are so small and you're turning them over so often that shuffling just didn't feel appropriate. I did try it as a multiplayer game because it was a really nice system, just going down, going up, trying to get rid of things. I tried it as a two-player game, battling against each other, and if you're going down and then your opponent has taken so many things that you are going down to a 3, but there's no 3s remaining in the communal pool, well, then you get to skip down to a 2. And that worked, but all three players who tried it said that it felt like a really interesting puzzle, but they wanted to they wanted to enjoy the puzzle themselves, if you know what I mean. They didn't feel like it was worth having another player at the table. And so I went back to the original design and I tried other things. I tried originally 5s. If you didn't use them, they would just stay at a 5. That's a brilliant idea, but it didn't make so much sense to me. And so I tried 5s going up to a 1 and a 5. And back when you had a set number of turns and you're trying to do the best you can, sure, that was a good rule. But now that you're trying to get rid of so many cards, you never want to introduce more cards. That's a terrible idea. So I went back to the original rules. And it's interesting because there's so many things I tried, and then I realized actually the original version was better, until the only thing, literally the only thing that I've changed, the only thing in all the development that I've tweaked is the number of starting cards. There's now 3 options. There's a basic mode, a tricky mode, and an epic mode. The basic mode, I think it'll take you maybe 25 minutes for your first game. It'll take me about 10 minutes to play through, and because I know how it works. The epic mode, if you're David Brain, it'll take you about 90 minutes, and David will do it in very few turns because David's pondering everything and really calculating. If you're me, then you'll do it in about half an hour, but get a far worse score because that's the way that I play. And so, yes, literally, it was just tweaking, though. Other than the game finishes when you get to 3, it was just tweaking those few things. And good morning, Rob. It is lovely to see you. And yes, congratulations to Joseph indeed. At this point, I feel like I should try and get my mobile phone onto the StreamYard and see if I can play a quick game of this to show you all how it works. And of course, if you have any questions about it, please do ask. And I'm not going to list all the other entrants by name, but once more, and this is the final time that I will say it, I do want to say once more, thank you to everyone who entered. Not just Joseph Kelly, who contributed more than one game, but everyone. And when I was sharing these things, sure, it was me who made the final decision, but I did rely very heavily on other people at Royal Festival Hall. Rory Muldoon kind of played a few things, but Andrew Beardsley trying things, and just the joy in people's faces and not telling them who made any game. And it was only this morning that I've made that public. Let me mute. And okay, let's see if this will hold at all. This probably needs to be a wee bit higher. Maybe there. Okay, let's see if this is any good. And hello, young Gaelic, who is Joseph Kelly. Congratulations once more for winning. And yes, good morning, Mike Farrell. You are Black Sheep. It was lovely to play with you last night. And Joseph Kelly says, thanks everyone, and thanks Bez for running the competition. I love the development you did on Dwindle, and I'm glad that people like it. Yes, definitely. And so far it's just been people in London mainly playing it, but hopefully we will soon get a whole bunch of people. So let me go through the rules. First, you have to separate out all the cards. That is one thing that's never changed. And I am aware that I'm going to have to definitely sort out this camera again in just a second. I do apologize. Yeah, this is what you get when it's not quite a professional setup. And let's see, can I... Maybe if I do that and that, and maybe I can... Yes, it's staying put. Okay, boom. So we've got the ones. These are the cards that we... And the other thing about the game that I really like, that's just a natural thing about the game, the way it works, is that, sure, you start off with the 3, 4, 5, which are relatively easy to use. You've got the G, U, W. I mean, that's as hard as it can get. And the C, B, M, D, H, L, all of these are relatively simple letters to use. But then as soon as you manage to get something down, you're thinking about the Y, F, and the P. And then just before you win, you've got to have used the J, K, Q, Z, V, or X. And so there's an additional challenge. There's an additional, whoa, how am I going to use this J in this word? And frankly, a K is probably one of the hardest ones, unless you've managed to get a C in your hand as well. Whereas X or Z, if you know, X with any other vowel can be a word. So that was something I was taught. Where's my rule sheet gone? I can't remember. Let's play normal mode. Let me explain how to play normal mode. But you take 2 5s, 2 4s, and 1 3. And that's the setup. Boom. You've got your cards and you're putting them around and you're trying to make a word. So straight away, I see that I could make bolt. Is that the best word I could make, though? Well, again, this kind of uses a similar system to quintuple, where I think that I can't work out something perfect here, but if I were to make a 5-letter word that used none of the bottom letters, that would actually be really rubbish. It's all about which bottom letters do I want to bring down, and actually I'm thinking I want to bring down this one, so maybe I ball, bool, boom, mold, molt, more, moob. Ha. I can't think of a better word. Oh, trout. See. Wow. Well done, Rob. Rob, I'm just going to play with all the assistants. Yeah, feel free to give any assistance. So this would be a really nice word. So the 3 would go down to a 2, and then I would be left with a 5544. But if I were to go, if I were to use bum, now bum, this is interesting because bum is a shorter word than trout, but now I would go down to a 3, 2, 3 because I've managed to use the lower letters. And these 2 5s, I don't even care about them because the highest that they can go is up to a 5. And yes, trout was a really good one, but this is exactly what I love about this game because just like quintuple, just like hand build L, it's not always the longer words that are the best ones. So I am actually going to start off my first turn with the slightly rude word bum. I don't think you can see that, but every turn you just write down your word and that is how it goes. So replace them with a 4 goes into a 3 because I used the lower letter, 3 goes into a 2 because I used the lower letter, 4 goes into a 3, and the 2 5s stay as 2 5s because they cannot go up. I cleared that, and although you cannot see, I'm just making 5 little discard piles. Let's put it like that. There's 5 little discard piles that are just for each of these draw piles, which is going to speed up the refresh. And so we're on to rude words dwindle already, says Rob. Well, there's a limit to rudeness. I think you people all know where the limit is. Straight away I see guy, and that's I'm actually being incredibly lucky with these letters. So I'm going to make the word guy. And in my second word, guy, G-U-Y. So a 3-3-2 gets turned into a 2-2-1, and the 2 5s stay as 2 5s. This version of the game was intended to be the simplest version that has some interest. So it gives you an idea of what the game's about, but you could make it even simpler. I mean, the absolute simplest version would, of course, be to start with 4 cards rather than 5, and then you've only got to get rid of the one of them. But this way, you have to get rid of 2, and there's a bit more replayability. It feels like something worth playing multiple times. Okay, so if I were to use the word ox, or pox, you know what? I'm just going ahead with pox. Pox, P-O-X. So what happens now is the P turns into a 1, the 2 stays as a 2, and the 1, it just disappears because I've used the 1. It can't go any lower. It goes down to 0 and it goes ploop, and that's it. And then the 2 5s, of course, stay as 2 5s. And I've got my new cards for next turn. And if I manage to use the Z, then I will... Oh, I see a word. If I manage to use the Z, then I get to win. Yep, black sheep. The endgame trigger is once you've got 3 cards left, that's the end of the game. So in theory, and in reality, I am going to make the word Zen, Z-E-N, which means that now that goes to nothing, 2 goes to a 2, 5 goes to a 5, that stays as a 5 because it can't go up. These go away into the relative discard piles, and boom, I have 3 cards. And that is the end of the basic game. So you see, that's the basic game, and that is, like I said, as simple as it can be while still giving you a bit of a rush, a bit of excitement. Let me just listen to my robot and do my turning around. Does that make any sense? Do you have any rules questions? Let me know. If that all makes sense, then would you like me to try the tricky mode, or would you like me to try the epic mode? Because the epic mode is actually one that I'm going to roll up my sleeves for, and I am up for that challenge. That the epic mode feels like once you get to the end, that's like, whew, and we could probably have a bit more of a ponder about the things together. Let me know if you have a preference. But yeah, do you feel like this is something that you're going to try? I am going to upload the rules into my Google directory. I am going to do that within 5 minutes of this stream ending. I've got the rules. The rules, just to be clear, are not final. There is going to be a lot more development that's done. And I would really like everyone to, if you play the game, let me know your scores. Let me know how long it took. Let me know how many words it took to beat whatever the thing is. I understand if you're playing for the first time, you might not be able to equal. I think 4 cards might. It's close to as good as you can get, but just whatever you get, if you can let me know your scores, that would really help me when what I try to do for all my solo games is to say, this is very good, this is brilliant, and this is, woof, mind-blowingly amazing. Tom wants to go epic. Black Sheep asks, what's the difference between the modes? Well, let me tell you. So the basic mode, you start off with 5 cards, 2 5s, 2, 2, and 1. Hopefully that's visible. The tricky mode is 3, 3, and 2. So you're getting 3 extra cards to get rid of. Whereas epic mode, you get 12 cards. So it goes 5, then 8, then 12. So you're going 5 5s, 4 4s, and 3 3s. And so you're going to need to bring at least 3 of these 5s all the way down to 1 and get rid of them. And this mode is going to need quite a bit of shuffling, and you're going to need to make some pretty gosh darn long words. And so, yes, let's go epic. Let's take all 12 cards and see what happens. I've got to see. And this is the thing with this game. I'm kind of focusing very largely on what is on the bottom because, got a lot of U's. 2 out of the 3 U's. Remember, the lower number is the frequency, so there's 4 C's, which means there's 15 of these cards because there's 3 things that there's 5 of. There's 12 of these cards because there's 3 things that there's 4 of. There's U, G, and W in this deck, so there's 3 each of them, so that's 9. F, P, and Y, there's 2 of, so there's 6 cards here. And the ones, well, there's 6 different things. This stream always has a lot of you. And Black Sheep asks, what happens if you run out of a deck? Oh, if you run out of a deck, you just flip the discard pile over, and then you kind of keep going. And with epic mode, you are going to have multiple flips. With the basic mode, if you manage to do it before you have to flip any card, yeah, you've done reasonably well. But the tricky and epic modes, it's never going to happen. Okay, I am. You know what? I'm going to slide. You've already understood how the discard pile works. I'm going to make a little bit more space here, and let's see what's happened. Cauldron. Oh, yes. Cauldron is a possibility. And if I were to use Cauldron, I would probably prefer to use this A because I want to once the 4 goes to a 5, then it's kind of safe and I don't worry about it going down anymore. But really what I want to do is to try and get the 3s down. And I am using one of the U's, so that's not too bad. Could I even use the W? I can't see anything. But that's, yeah. And Tom says, that's a good word. Of course, suspiciously similar to their surname. If anyone else has a better word, but yeah, feel free to shout out things or to type in things, but for future turns, I'm going to keep the game moving because that's my style. I'm going to go with Cauldron. So 4 goes to a 3 because I used the C. This 3 stays as a 3. This 3 goes down to a 2. The 2 5s go down to 4s. And because I use these top letters, they stay the same. So it's 4, 4, and 3. And then these cards, the 4s and the 5s, well, they can't go any higher than a 5. So 4, 5, 5, 5 turns into 5, 5, 5, and 5. Clear them out and place them in a little discard pile. One day, maybe when I'm in Thailand, I will have a studio with camera permanently from the ceiling and everything, but today is not that day. Ooh. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Stuff was already cleared away, but we've had a bit of help that came a tiny moment too late. I do apologize for not waiting. Word games are my nemesis, says Black Sheep. And let me move these up so you can see all the bottom letters. There we go. So when I see something like this, my mind immediately thinks, okay, CH, like that's an easy thing to put together. And churchy, chunny, chubby, no. Oh, I could do chubby. That's actually pretty good. And if I were to do chubby, that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them would be going down, and 1, 2, 3 of them would be going up, because the other 3 are already 5s, and so we don't care too much about them. And the Y, which is a 2, would go down to 1, which is my first step in getting rid of a letter. I definitely... Oh, chubbiness. Suggests Tom, chubbiness. Let's see. Chubbiness. I mean, that's the question. Is it better? Tom says it's longer, but not better. I mean, it does mean that I get to keep this 3. But yeah, this is where the actual strategy comes in, because it's not where I think, do I want to get the Y down to a 1 so that I can get rid of it as a letter? Or do I want to keep this 3 and this 4 and stop them from going down, going up to a 5 and a 4? I think Tom says chubby's good, so I'm going to stick with chubby just to get something ready to throw away, and I'll be down to 11, which will be satisfying. And step 1, because in the new version of the game, every time you get rid of a card, that's the only way to lock in your progress. All sorts of other progress going down, your letters can go up, but it's the critical bit when you go from a 1 to a 0. And so C, a 4 goes down to a 3, 5 goes down to a 4. The U, which was a 3, I get to 2 card. The 2 Bs turn into 2 3s. And the Y goes down to 1, and it's a Q. So we'll see if we've got to U this time. Fingers crossed. G, C, D, W, H, and D, or I should say A, G, I, C, N, D, E, W, S, H, S, D. None of these were cards I used, so the 3 goes to a 4. This 3 also goes to a 4. This 4 goes to a 5, and these 3 5s stay as 1, 2, 3 5s. And at this point, because The pile of threes is completely empty. I just have the discard pile of threes and I flip it over. I don't waste time. Okay, so now we've got the Q. Do I have a U? Oh no, I don't have a U. That is disappointing. That is disappointing. But if I use the I, then I will stick with the 1. I do not have a U in my hand. Disappointment. There are words like I could do QI just to get rid of the Q, but with 12 cards in your hand, that's too painful. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to keep this as a 1 and hopefully bring this down to 1. So if I'm thinking PIM, PIB, oh, I've got 2 B's again. Interesting. PIB. Tom says, starting to see how tricky this is. Maybe a word's ending in right or light. Ooh, light. Let's see what we've got left. If LIGH, there's another L. There's another G. There we go. Light. Oh, plight. Plight could be a good word. Yeah, the plight of humans. The plight of humanity. So, real light, poo light, snow light, headlight, hot, highlight, no. If only I had another, if only I had another T. If only I had another L, then that L could go there. Yeah, with 12 cards, it is definitely a thing because there's an interesting relationship between all the cards, and I've played with this deck for a while, so yeah, it's highlight definitely can't be done because I need this T4 here, and this is the only L, so that has to go here. Bright, Daylight, D-Light? No, D-Light is actually... So this is the interesting thing. So I could have Plight, but D-Light is actually worse. So D-Light, the 5 goes down to 4, but we don't really care about it. But Plight, a P going down to a 1. And I think that gives it a sort of sense of, yes, you need to try and use those more tricky letters. You need to see what's going on. I could also use Blight, but unless anyone else has any... Blighted. Oh, Blighted. Oh, I like that. Blighted. Then we've got a 4 going down to a 3, which is quite nice. And I don't really... The interesting thing is that even though L and H and D are on the bottom, I don't care too much about using them because they were only 5s anyway, and having a few 5s does mean that they go up. So again, is it better for me to... I think that is marginally better, but only just. And yeah. Rob says, nice. It's as if you've played this before, to the designer Joseph Kelly. Let's go with Blighted. Wait a minute, did I forget to write down something? What did I do? Oh, I went Cauldron, then Chubby. Cauldron, Chubby, and then Blighted. Written down my letter. Don't let me forget again. So 4 goes down to 3. 5 goes to 4. 1. I use the top letter so it stays as a 1. Oh, I've got an X. G goes down to 2. 5 goes down to 4, so I flip the discard pile and take a 4. And then 3 and 2 stay as 3 and 2 because I use them for the T and the E. And using the lower letter, the D, that goes down to a 4. and then the 5, 4, 4, 3 goes to 5, 5, another 5, and a 4. Clear them all off, and sort them all out into their respective decks. And this is quite satisfying. For the first time, I've got something discarded in the ones. Okay, so we've got the X, and if we can use the X, then obviously that's a letter to get rid of, and we'll go down to 11. Okay, sextant, no, there's not enough T's. Is there? No, there's not a G. I can't use ing. Fixture. Oh, there's no E for fixture. Fixting, fixtal. Ooh. Fix. I mean, situations like this, I mean, these are all 5s. I don't care about them. Let's put the 5 separately. And these are the ones that, these 5 are the ones that I really want to be using in this. Axolotl. Does that work? Axolotl. Ah, very nice. So that would, but I still feel like fix might, this is really weird to say, but I feel like fix might be a better thing, just because fix brings the F down to 1, so I could potentially get rid of the, oh, it's an L, not an I. Oh, apparently it's axolotl. Oh, is that the name of the animal? I thought it was, okay. Apparently we've got not enough L's anyway. But I feel like fix is still, but let's try for something different. Ux, bucks, I feel like fix is still the word to beat, because sure, that leaves me with some high value cards, but that's getting rid of the X, which I think is the most important thing, and it's bringing the F down to 1. Using the F or the Y. Oh, can I use xylophone? No, I can't use xylophone. There's xylem. Oh, no, there's no E. What Zenip? No, there's no E. Zeros? No. These are all the X words that I know. Zerosis and mixology. Ooh, mixology. Does that work? No, there's no G. There's no G. So that doesn't work. Just to unless I'm missing something, mixology. If we've got an OF, IY, SX, OC, TM, RL, AL, NH, AM, RM, NU, and AW. Oh. Okay, to keep the game going, I think this is just a tricky hand, so I'm just going to go with fix. I know this is a really short word given how many cards I've also got, but fix does give me a 1, and it's a Z. Hopefully I'll be able to use that. The 2 stays as a 2, and the 1 finally goes away. Exciting. So that's them. Now everything else goes up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the 4s, unfortunately, go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 1, 2, 3, 5s turn into 3 more 5s, and the 2 3s turn into 2 4s. Tom suggested maximum. That might have been a possibility, but it's always hard to know when to. But I do apologize for, because of the lag and everything. Okay, now I've got a ridiculous number of 5s. Now I need to start bringing them down. But congratulations, Tom. Maximum, that would have been probably a better word, I do admit, with the U for the 3, bringing down that to a 2. Anyway, we have managed to get down to 11 cards. I will leave a bit of time and let you think about it whilst I, on my special ELL deck coaster. So we've got an AP. Bringing that down to a 1 would let us get rid of it next turn. NZ, getting rid of that would be really cool. Using it as an N is also okay. We've got a couple of 4s, the TC and the IC. Like I fixed, did leave me with some problems, but I'm going to try bringing them down to 3. We've got the IL, EL, then a whole bunch of these, TD, RD, ND, SD, and the SH. So, what can you see? I can see zip, ZIP, and Pfizer, Pizzle, Zipple, Zipper. No, that's the thing, like F and P are really interesting letters because in one sense, you quite often want more of them in a certain letter. So even though there's only 2 Fs in the deck, it's quite often that you will want both those Fs. So that's always been an interesting thing to think about. And hellos, Josie, it is lovely to see you. And Black Sheep says zip. Josie suggests zinc. So that's the N from here and the C from there. That is, in terms of raw points value, that is definitely a better word because keeping that the same, bringing that one down. And so if I were to do zip from a raw points value, it would be +1, +2, -1. So it's kind of a net 0, but of course, getting rid of the cards is really fantastic. So that's like a net 0 because 2 of them are going up, 2 of them are going down. Whereas if I have zinc, then 2 of them are going up and 2 of them are going down. And it's actually exactly the same. So the only difference it makes is whether I want the P or the C to go down. Because remember, with the ND, with anything with a D or an L or an H, you're not actually that bothered about whether you use it or not. Sprinted, suggests Tom. Let's see. Presumably using the N from the NZ. Sprint it. I like this. And I could change that I to this one, which means that now with sprinted, nothing goes up because SHNDIL, remember DHL, these are the letters that they can't go up anymore. And the 2 4s and the 1, they stay the same. So this is kind of like a -1. So I'm bringing my score down 1. Remember, you're trying to bring your score down to 0 if you can, and get it to the minimum until you get rid of your cards. So that's actually quite nice. Actually, this is a -2. That's pretty gosh darn good. Nice work, Tom. And Rob had an idea for panic, but yes, it doesn't work because P and A are on the same card. But sprinted seems fantastic. And Joseph Kelly was thinking capsize, but the A and the P are on the same card, yes. It's kind of like a logic puzzle mixed with a word game. I think let's go with sprinted. That's a fantastic word. Sprinted. So, S stays as a 5. And that deck's empty, so I need to flip over the discard pile. 2 goes down to 1. Brilliant. And it's a V. The 5 stays as a 5. 4 stays as a 4. Everything that's how you use the top letter of stays as the same thing. So 1 stays as a 1. 4 is a 4. 5 is a 5. And 5, because I used the D, is a 4. And these 3 unused cards, because they were 5s, I just take 3 more 5s. Clear all of them. Sort them into little discard piles. And away we go again. So we've got the V. And we've gotten rid of 1 card so far. So, but with a J and a V. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's still quite a bit to go. So ideally, remember, these 5s, I'm going to put them all on the bottom row to make it easier to look at. The RH, OH, TH, RL, TL, and OD, because DH and L are the cards with the 5s, they can't go any higher. So using them is good if you use them for the bottom letters. If you use them for the top letters, who cares? It doesn't matter. Only use them for the top letters in order to get other stuff out. We definitely want to keep these 1s as 1s, or ideally even get rid of them if we can. The AJ and the OV. And then we've got a few 4s that we probably want to start bringing down if we can have a double B or a C in there somewhere. SB, NB, SC. Oh, if only we had a Y as well. Yeah, I just thought of the word jobbing. Maybe that's a bit puerile, but it makes me laugh. I can... So, anyone got any ideas? I will have a wee swig of water and let you think for a moment. That's good water. Limited by the vowels, says Rob. Jobs is pretty good. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we're getting rid of a card, we're bringing down a 4 to a 3, and we've got 1 that goes up, but, having 1 go up isn't too bad. I honestly can't think of... Yeah, I can't think of anything better than that. There's so many O's out here. So, shall we just go with jobs? Or does anything... Hobby? No. Hobro. Hobboro. Troblor. Bor. Trogbo. Dobro. Hobro. Jobrob. Job. Rotsto. Yeah, no one can see anything better. So let's go with jobs. J. We get rid of it. Hooray! We're down to 10. OV, we with the final one, which is a K. Hopefully we'll have a 4. I'm in a C. B, it was used as a B, so it goes down to 3. SB, it was used for the top letter, so it's going to turn into a B, unfortunately. And SC goes up to a 5. Oh, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because this pile's empty, I'll just flip it over, and we're down to 10. Yeah, K is a really difficult letter to use if you don't have a C. I mean, I'm sure there's some words I'm not thinking of, but like knife, K. Yeah, I can't think of much that has a K but not a C. And Josie says K or Y would have helped in the last round. I would agree. Black Sheep says, careful, you may start summoning something. Oh, summoning, as in, yeah, some weird eldritch chant. I get what you're saying. Bulk? Oh, bulk. That's a word. Oh, I should. Sorry, I need to let you all think of stuff. But yeah, let me know if you see anything super awesome. I am keen to get. So we've got. Let me. I should have sorted it out to help you all. So we've got the SH, NH, and then we've got the ND and TD, and we've got the AL, IL, EL. So these ones are fives. We don't care about them too much. If they go up, obviously we need to bring at least 4 of them down to a 0 during the course of the game. But these are the ones that we might want to focus on just now. The EK, getting rid of the K would be great. IU, bringing it down to 2 with a U would be nice. If we don't bring it down, at least keep it where it is using the I. We've got a lot of vowels this time, which is really nice. And the IB, might want to use that. And Rob says you need to think hard. Oh, yes. So in order to think of something that has a K but not a C, CHINK or CHINK. Yeah, that could definitely have worked. Shake. Ooh. SHAKE. Interesting. So that would let's actually check this word shake. SHAKE. So what happens with shake is that it would be -2, which is good, especially because this -1 brings a 1 to a 0 and we get rid of that card. But in the IB, IU, they go back up, so it's -2 plus 2. So that feels okay. A good solid start, but not. Hopefully we can think of something better. Oh, Josie's got a really nice one. Bulk. Let's see how that one works. Okay, I like the as in to vomit. B. Interesting. So because the only A is on a 5, and if you use the top letter, it just stays the same. You don't get a bonus of bringing it down. But because it's a 5, we don't care about it staying the same or going up. It makes no difference to us. So if we had an A in a 3 or a 4 or a 2 or whatever, that would be great. But as it is, bulk and bulk are exactly the same value. Ooh. and hauls, or even hauled. So if we've got hauled, that would be, we'd lose this would go backwards, but we would get 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. So that's a net -3, which is pretty good. So that feels good, even though we're not getting rid of this K, we could get rid of it next time. So that's a net -3. And we've got bulkhead. This is I don't know what this word means. This is something I would have to check on. Wait a minute. Oh yeah. Does bulkhead work? Head. Ah yes, there we go. Bulkhead. There we go. Amazing. Is that a word? I've never heard of this word. What does it mean? I mean, I want to look it up in Collins right now, but Collins English Dictionary, bulkhead, bulkhead, bulkhead deck, bulkheading. What? Bulkheaded, what is this? It's a wall which divides the inside of a ship or airplane into separate sections. Wow. That's I'm really impressed with that word. Well done. I've never heard of this word. Did other people know this word? This is wow. I'm just seriously impressed. Yeah, I'm impressed at you. And hello, QB, and basically this is the 2021 ELL Deck Game Design Entry of the Year. I'm going to put up the rules onto the Google Drive in a few minutes after this stream ends. But yeah, that is, apparently everyone knew it. Rob knew it, Josie knew it, Black Sheep knew it, and old Trek, he's know the word bulkhead apparently. Oh, I do need to plug my laptop in. Just 1 second. Come on, and my wire is slightly fiddly, unfortunately. Oh, come on, wire. Why won't you work? Please work today. Ah, there we go. The laptop is charging again. So, and Rob says, this is a great little or quite big puzzle, Joseph Kelly. And Josie says, maybe that's why I know bulkhead, because I'm a Trekkie. I didn't know that about you. But that's an amazing word. Yeah. Bulkhead. And so, yeah, this is obviously, we are going to get a pretty good score because this is like the combined thinking process of a whole bunch of people. Sort of IB, we use the B and it goes down to a 3. IU, we use the U and it goes down to a 2. IL, we use the L, it goes down to 4. EK, it was a 1. And we use the K and it disappears. Boom, we're down to fewer cards. NH, we use the H, goes down to 4. EL, AL, they stay as 5s. And ND, we use the D, it goes down to a 4. And then SH and TD, they can't go up, so they stay as 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, we're doing well. We've used the X, the J, and the K. And then all of those get gathered up, and I just pop them in the little discard piles. And flip that. Now, our next turn, and it's going to become a little bit easier as time goes on because there will be fewer and fewer cards, and so you won't have to worry so much about, like now, if I'm a 6-letter word would actually be as good as I can possibly get, arguably, because 3 of the cards I don't have to worry about. We've got the RD and the SD, which, hey, if we use them, great. If we don't, who cares? OH and RH, got a good selection of vowels. And for the 4s, we've got TM, RB, and EM. And then we've got the NF, which we probably should, and the EW. So we're trying to remember as many lower letters as we can. And if we can't use a lower letter, we want to use at least the top letter of these cards. If we can't use the lower letter of these cards, it doesn't make any difference whether we use the top or not. So literally using the S or not makes 0 difference to the score. Rob says, this is all about the combined thinking process of Tom Cauldron and Joseph Kelly. The rest of us are also here. I think you're doing yourself a disservice. But yeah, always with the... And so, yes, what words can you see? I am so tempted to get myself some more water. You know what? I am going to get myself a drink. I will be literally about 30 seconds. Okay, some more water. Yay, water is great. I see people. I'm thinking hemmed? No, hemmed doesn't work. Hemmed. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Let's check this out. Okay, so basically freedom gives us -3 points. That's pretty good. 3 of the cards going down, nothing going up. I like that. That's the one to beat. Fresher. Oh, that means that you're not using the T or M. That's not going to be as good, probably. Yeah, fresher is -2 but +1, so it's kind of a net -1. Freedom is still the word to beat. We have... Let's get the M back up there and move the 5s down here. So these are the ones that you want to concentrate on using these 5 cards as much as you can. Earn, rem, romer, romd, domd, fromd. No. Yeah. The crowd seems to think that freedom is good, says Tom and Rob. Freedom, I won't let you down. Okay, let's go. Freedom. Yeah. Don't keep Dom locked up. Freedom. So we've got freedom, and that F goes down to 1. R and B and E and M stay as 4s. EW stays as a 3. SD goes down to 4. Woo. OH stays as a 5. TM goes down to 3. Woo. And RD and RH stay as 2 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And get rid of the 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 4, 2. And there we go. So we've still got 3 5s, which is exactly, oh, boom, which is exactly the number of cards that we're allowed to be left with at the end. So you've got the TL, RL, and TH. On the top, the cards that we want to concentrate on, IQ. If we can get rid of that, obviously that's one less card to think about, which might be nice. The OU, I mean QU, hopefully there might be something here. RM, AM, and OC are the 4s, and then there's the 3 of the AG. I noticed there isn't the ING, which is sometimes, it's interesting because ING is a really nice way to make a longer word, but you're only using one of the lower letters, so unless the I and the N were already on quarto, says Tom. I mean, I know that's a game, but is that actually a word? I'm going to look it up. Quarto. Whoa, it is a word? What? It's a book size. Wow. Amazing. From folding a sheet of paper, usually crown or demi, which I'm not familiar with, I guess that's a size of paper, into 4 leaves or 8 pages, each 1/4 size of the sheet. Huh. So its crown is book size. Let's see if it's... No, it doesn't tell me exactly how big a crown sheet of paper is. Anyway, very nice. Quarto. That feels like the one to beat currently. Quag. Ooh, quag. What does that mean? I've never seen these people coming up with these. Just quag, another word for quagmire. So let's see. Quarto gives me -2 plus 1. Quag gives me -3 plus 2. So the net result is very similar. So the question is whether I want to be left with 5 5s and 2 2s, or whether it would be better to be left with yeah, 3 5s, 4 4s, and a 2. I mean, I honestly don't know which one's better. Both of these are really good. Oh, qualm. Qualm. Oh, that's very nice. Qualm. Nice. And yeah, using more lower letters is always better. Oh, and maybe I use the A here. Keep that 3 down. And so then that's a -1 2 3 4 plus 2. So this feels like the word to beat currently. Qualm is really, really good. Rob suggests getting 2 2s seems like a better thing, getting closer to getting rid of cards. But I do think that in long term, qualm is going to be a better word, because you've got one of your things going to a 2, you've still got a 3. 3s can be useful because you'll have a G or a U, or maybe a W, which isn't as great. But yeah, part of me does wonder whether at some point, I wonder whether there are too many W's in this deck. I mean, I'll probably do like once, how many, this year is the 5th year anniversary of the original ELL deck, and I don't feel confident enough to change anything about it. But yeah, when it gets to another 5 years, I'll revisit it for sure and think about whether, I don't know, I've been like maybe change SG because that feels like too good a card. And anyway, but yeah. Qualm might be best, says Joseph Kelly. You can't beat a good W. Is that a vote for keeping 3 W's in the deck? Let me know. But yes, let's go with Qualm. And thank you very much, Mike. That is a great word. Qualm. So the Q, boom, get rid of it. The U goes down to a 2. G stays as a 3. Flip all the discards, and L goes down to 4. M goes down to a 3. And then the MCLH, which I did not use, go into 4 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're down to 8 cards. And it's still quite... And now we're basically quite close to where we'd be if we were starting off with Tricky. Because I wonder how different... Yeah, Tricky is, I think, 3 5s, 3 4s, and 2 3s. So, yeah, we're... Yeah, I don't know how long it's been, but yeah. Just for reference. Anyway. So, Mike says, I got one. My job here is done. And Rob says, the revised balanced edition could be the M deck. And then you have to come up with new names, things like Imagination, Emphasis, Empire. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, so we've got a bunch of 5s. EL, IL, ND, OD. We can keep 3 of these as 5s. We don't need to worry about all of them. It's basically about getting rid of these cards plus 1 of these. Because once we get down to 3 cards, we win the game. So, we've got those ones. We've got the EW, which is a 2, and hopefully we can come up with a Y at the end. We've got the TG. I see that we do have ING if we wanted to use that, or ING. RW and IC. So let's see what people are coming up with. Gilly. We could also have Gully, but... Or Golly, but... Yeah, Gilly is definitely better. So Gilly would give us... -3 plus 1. But even though it's a net -2, one of these 2 5s is kind of superfluous, remember. So that might not be the best, but that definitely feels like a good solid start. Joseph Kelly says, you've nearly got Dwindle. I'm not sure what you... as in the actual word. Yes. Yes. If only there was another D. Or another N. Yeah, so close, but yet so far. Okay. So, let's see if I were to... Is there a verb that we can think of? And let's see, we put these things here. Is there the root of a verb that could go with these letters? Leering? No. Yeah, leering. Clearing. Yelling. Yelling, says Josie. Let's check it out. I don't think we can do that. Nope. Because there are only 2 L's. And every E in the game is either on the Y or on one of the L's. So yelling, so close, but oh, weld. Weld, interesting. Well, or welling. Welling could be at okay. Welling feels like the one to beat, like something welling up. So that's -1, -2, 3, 4, and yeah, -4. It doesn't reduce to 2, which is a bit of a shame. But welling, that feels like a really solid one. Rob jokingly suggests new rule: if you ever spell dwindle, you automatically win. Tom says yowling. Okay, so we've got yowling. Okay, so that would... Yes, because that uses the Y. That's even better. Oh my gosh, that's even better instead of WEL, where we don't really... Yeah. Yeah, rather managing to use the Y in there. That yowling is definitely good. Yeah, I agree with Joseph Kelly and everyone else who says yowling is really good. Rob says reeling is a valid word, but not reeling. Yep, it is valid. Yep, definitely. Wiggly, I think it needs 2 G's. And yield, I think that yield, why I... Yeah, there's too many RRW and TG not being used is definitely a mark against it. So I think that yowling is... Ooh, cowling. So Josie suggests cowling. No, yowling is definitely better because having a 5 that cannot go up as your remaining letter means that you're not really punished. Oops, I just realized that my camera's moved. I'm going to move these over here. But yeah, I'm going to stick with yowling. That's a fantastic word. But again, as always, thank you very much for the inputs, everyone. Yowling. There we go. And 2 goes down to 1. OD stays as a 5. RW goes down to a 2. EL goes down to a 4. IC stays as a 4. ND stays as a 5. TG goes down to a 2. And IL is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oof. This is pretty gosh darn epic. I feel like it merits the name. Hopefully you agree. So we've got 3 5s. Those, it would make sense if we plan our words ideally. If we get the perfect things, then these could be the 3 cards that we're left with at the end of the game. So we don't need to worry about them too much. We've got an SX, which it would be great if we could use the X and get rid of it. The IY, if we could use the Y and get it down to 1, or indeed the EP, use the P and get it down to 1. And we've got a couple of cards, NB and TC, that are currently still 4s, but we'll bring them down to 3s, then 2s, then 1s, and then get rid of them. Sexy, suggests Rob. Oh, that feels like a reasonable start. Sexy. Oh, that is actually pretty good. That gets rid of that one, and it's -2, and it's +2. I mean, it's a net 0, but we're getting rid of a card, so it is still... Sexy does push us in the right direction. Yeah, and then all of these would be unused. Can you think of anything better? So that's a net zero. Ibex. Let's see. Ibex? Ibex. I'm not familiar with that word. Is that an animal of some sort? But this is -2 +1. So that's a net -1. So that feels marginally better than sexy. Nice work. Sextant. Says black sheep. Sextant. Okay, I do like this one. This is -1 +1. And it is a much longer word. And you would think that sexy would be much worse than sextant. But at the same time, they're both essentially giving you the same thing. And apparently, ibex is a wild goat, or like a. Oh, there's some disagreements. Let me double check Google. Ibex is any of 3 different wild goats. Oh wow, and there's a wee picture. Very big horns and very curved horns. Okay. Anyway, so sexy gives us the benefit of giving us -1 to the y and bringing it down to 1, which we could get rid of next turn, which would be a nice little combo, so we are always getting rid of something. If you're stuck with too many of these ones, then it can be quite tricky to do all at once. But sextant, because none of these actually go up, none of them go down, but 2 of them were the ones that we weren't bothered about, it's actually no better. They're actually equally valuable, and I think that this is marginally better just because of what you're getting. Tom says, I get ibis and ibex mixed up easily. Fortunately, that doesn't impact my daily life very much, so I guess you don't see them. Is there a lose condition to the game, asks Rob, or is it just win or give up? It is just win or give up. And the idea is that if you want the challenge, then you would see how few words you can do it in, but you can also just play it in a meditative way and just see, oh, what's the best thing that I can get? I think ibex is actually the best one that we have, because that's a positive, that's moving us one in the right direction. Ooh, doxy or Dexy, says Josie. Sexy ibex. Unfortunately, you can't have multiple words, but doxy, MD. No, that doesn't quite work. And let me actually double check Dexy. So Dexy would give -3 +2. And that's actually equally good as ibex. Let me double check. Dexy. It's another name for dexedrine. Huh. Interesting. A pill containing dextroamphetamine. Learn something new every day. Yeah, it's between ibex and basically, do I want to get this down to 1 and this down to 3, or no, this down to a 1 for next turn would be nice, and it's down to 4, at least that replaces this. Yeah, let's go with Dexy. And so we're using the word Dexy, and we're getting rid of another card. So D goes down to 4. EP, use it for the E, stays at a 2. X, we used it, boom, it is gone. Y goes down to 1, and then the 4554 goes to 5555. That is unfortunately lots of 5s, but I don't think we had the best set of possibilities on that round. Well, we are definitely moving in the right direction. Okay, so we do have to get one of these 5s at least moving in the right direction. We've got NH, OH, RH, RD. And then the things that we really care about, NZ, OF, SB. Can we use the Z? Can we use the F? Can we use the B? Can we use one of these 3 things? Can we? I mean, Zorro, unfortunately, is not a word in the dictionary, I'm fairly sure. Zorro. Really? A Zorro is a grey-haired wild canine animal, very similar to a fox. Now I know. But I am going to actually double check Zorro just to see. So if we were to do that, it would be -1 + 1. So that's not even that great. Whereas if we had what Joseph Kelly has just suggested and do Bozo, then we've got -2 + 0. So that's -2. That's moving us 2 in the right direction. Boom. Bozo. Is anyone got any advance on Bozo? If not, I am going to go with that one. BOZO. So using the B gives us a 3. The O, it stays as a 2. Z, it goes bloom. The O stays as a 5. And the 555 stays as a 555. And in theory, if I wanted to, I might try and separate out these things just for next time that it comes round, which I guess is a sort of gamery thought process. I don't know if that's problematic. Wait, did I mess up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we've gotten rid of 6 of them, so I should be on 6. Wow, we're very close to the end. Okay, so we've got all these cards, that's our 5s. We need to get rid of one of them, but the other 3 can stay. RL, TL, SD, TH. AP, gets it down if we can. SG, gets it down if we can. And we've got no vowels except for the A. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. There is a rule. There's a special rule that if you can't find any good words, you can essentially skip the turn and take exactly the same numbers back. But hopefully we will find something that is at least somewhat good. If we say that we have to use this as the A, obviously it means we don't get down to the G, the 1, but Halls suggests, ooh, I like that. Keeping the 2 and the 3, and it gives us a net -3. That's pretty good. Ooh. Rags suggests Josie. R-A-G and S. Well, I like that. So that's a -1, but we are getting this 3 down to a 2, which is also quite nice. think that for me is marginally better, but if we go like a gallbladder, then we're getting the 3 down to a 2, which is quite nice. And that's still a -3, but it's -3 where we kind of need it, because we're using the minus, because remember, we can have 3 cards that are on 5 and we don't care about their numbers. So, no, thank you, Rob, for supplying calls. That's inspired gall. The gall of it. Gall. So, flip over the discard pile for the 2s, and we get a 2 instead of a G. And the AP stays as a 2, and the 2 Ls go down to a 4. And the TH and SD stay as 2 5s. Boom, 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 boom. 5, 3, 5, 5, and we've got 6 cards. We are coming to the end. We've got ND and IL that we don't care at all about, unless we need them, obviously. We've got the EY, which we really want to use the Y of if we can. The NF, which we really want to use the F of if we can. The IB, which is a 4, and the SC, which is a 4. One of these two, it would be more efficient to use one of them to bring it down. But let's see what we kind of can think of. I can think of something that's -1. So the Scottish, like Ben Nevis, Ben Lomond, whatever. So you've got your Bens, and that would give you -1, but it is at least keeping these ones the same. I guess at that point I might as well stick it in. Not that it seems superfluous, but it's nice. Bends, but again, what we really might want to be thinking about is something with the F and the Y, like fly, which would then mean that these 4s go up to a 5, but maybe that's okay, because the 5 fens. Ooh. So let's see, this leaves me with a 1 1 4 5 5 5. And this leaves me with a 1 2 4 5 5 5. So field flies, suggests Rob. This leaves me with more 4s, but possibly more. So whereas fly would be 1 1 4 5 5 5. Flies is 1 2 4 4 4 5. So it gives us a bit more options going into the getting rid of the remaining stuff. Flies might actually be better. Tom mentions fields. I like this. Fields, using the extra D, I think that's definitely marginally better. Yeah, so let's go with that. Fields. F goes to a 1. It's a J. The I stays as a 4, E stays as a 2, L goes down to 4, D goes down to 4, and S stays as a 4. Whoops. So 2, 4, 2, 5, 5, 4. Wow, we've got so many 4s. So we really want to get rid of this AJ. I mean, we could not, but we could just use it as an A, but would be a waste. And we really want to use this Y if we can. And then we really want to use one of these lower letters, M, B, or C, if we can. We've got the TM, EM, RB, and OC. So we have a couple of vowels, M, E, and O. If we want to use them here, I would suggest not using this one. Tom suggests joy. That's definitely nice because that gives us a 0, 4, 1 and 3 5s, which we don't care about those 3 5s. So right now we probably want to be concentrating on the shorter and shorter words. Tom mentions that we almost had Jobby again. If only we had one more B. But yes, I definitely like joy. Joy. J is just ignored and it goes down to 0, so we wipe it out. Woohoo! And OC, we use the O, so it stays as a 4. IY goes down to 1. And the 4, 4, 4, which we did not use, goes to 5, 5, 5. But that's okay because we are going to win when we get 3 cards remaining. So I flip over the ones and oh, can we have a something that uses a V? And ideally something that uses an A or an M. And with the 5s, you know, this gives us more letters to play with. We've got the SH, EL, OD. Ooh, Mike suggests save. Oh, I like this. Save. When it gets rid of the 1, and then we only need to focus on this final card to win the game. I like that a lot. Josie suggests sold. Sold. I mean, here's where earlier in the game, sold would be strategically better, but at this point in the game, with again, remember the game, we win the game when we are left with 3 things. So we want to bring, actually, yeah, we want to get rid of the V, I think, is a fairly solid thing to do on this turn. Even though, yeah, sold does give us 2 4s, which I like. I mean, but moves. MOVES. Oh, nice. So I think move is the perfect word. Move, and it doesn't matter whether it's move or moves because 5 can't go higher than a 5. But we're getting rid of the V and we're bringing down the 4 to a 3. And honestly, we don't care about the other ones. I think that move is definitely the best thing. Yeah. So let's go with moves. MOVES. 4 goes to 3. 5 stays as 5. 1, ploop, it's gone. 5 stays as 5. And 5, because this one would go higher if it were a lower number, but it stays as a 5. And so let's go there. Whoops. That goes there. And we're almost done. Basically, we could win in 3 turns if we use this U, and then we use whatever the next card is, and then we use whatever that card is. So, doesn't matter which of these three cards we use at this point. All we need to make sure is that we use the U. And hopefully this won't be too much of a challenge. So we've got an RH, an AL, a TD, and we need to use the U. So I couldn't... Rot, says Josie. Rot. Boom. Perfect. That serves our purposes as good as we need. Rob suggests hot. I mean, honestly, at this point, they might end up being equal. I mean, having a 4 and a 2 and a 5 and a 5 does give us more variety of letters potentially. So even though we don't have to worry about them, just since you thought of it, let's go with hot. But no, Josie, that was also a great word. So 4, U goes down to a 2, T stays as a 5, and AL stays as a 5. So boom, boom, boom. Out the game. Flip the 4s because the deck is empty. And P. We need something with a P in it. And we don't really care too much about what's here. So we've got an NH, an OH. So we do have another vowel. That's good. We probably want to use that for the O. We've got an RM. And yes, Rob suggested oh, that's right, Sapling. Yeah. Rob saw porn, and Josie also saw porn. And Tom says, "You saw that quick, Rob." Oh gosh. Yeah, I think that porn would be a fine thing. Either way, yeah, we could do that. Or indeed, we could do mop or hop. So if we do, at this point, if I don't think it really matters whether we do porn or hop or mop, but FOM, is that a word? Let me double check. PHOM. No, FOM isn't in the dictionary. That doesn't seem to be a word. But yeah, here we end up with a 1, 4, 5, 5. If we do this, we end up with a 1, 4, 5, 5. So it's exactly the same. If we do that, it's a 1, 3, 5, 5. So basically, do I want to end up with a 1, 4, 5, 5 or a 1, 3, 5, 5? I know that U is going to be in the threes. I know there's going to be some other vowels in the... To be fair, there is also the EW and and OW. So actually, there's slightly more chance of a vowel in here, I think. I think I want a 3. I think I actually want to go with... yeah, Rob suggests a 1, 3, 5, 5. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to write down mop. So M goes down to 3. OH stays at 4. And EP goes down to 1. And NH stays at 5. And can we win the game? If we can find something that uses the K, then we win. So we've got an EK. And getting rid of the 1 is going to win the game. We've got a TL, an A or W, and an RD. Yeah. Tom says this is advanced dwindle tactics right here. Rob says, makes you closer to backup 1 just in case. Yeah, I agree. Mike asks, is this on Tabletop Simulator? Ask Alex about it. And I don't know if you're familiar with, there's been some recent problems with Tabletop Simulator. I'm probably not going to put more efforts into it, but Alex Aquisilis did have a module, and if people want to use it, then you can. Otherwise, I'm trying to work out what I'm doing for the 5th year anniversary. If you don't already have an ELL deck, you can't buy a physical one right now, but I'm probably going to take the ones on my shop off sale and potentially do the Comic Sans one as a free thing for a very limited time. Like maybe 2 days kind of thing. And then, also this year is the 5th year anniversary, so I want to make it accessible anyway. Rob says cart, K-A-R-T. I think that is a variant spelling of cart with a C, like a go-kart. Yep. Nice. And in the US, apparently it's any small wheeled vehicle with or without a motor. And weld. Weld is a great word again, Josie. If we were to be trying, if this were mid-game, I think weld would be the better word because it gets us -3 and it uses this. So that stays as 1. But all we need to do now is use the K. So really, with cart, sure, this is -1, not -3. But the -1 means that we get rid of this card, and that's the end of the game. And Tom mentions TAC is a nice game. Not a word, though. Anyway, no point in belaboring the point. If you think of something else that would also work, then congratulations, but cart is definitely a winner. That would give 0, and then leave us with a 355. And at that point, I pick up 355. I've only got 3 cards, which means I win. And so that means I won in the first game for the records was 4 turns. Second game was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 turns. And so that was my score. 19 turns. Obviously, lower is better. But yeah, that's it. I feel like if I were to play this myself, I would probably be getting like 25 or 26 because I wouldn't have the help of everyone else, obviously. Let me do that. No, that. Yeah, that feels fine. So, is this the first official world record for Epic Dwindle? Asks Tom. I would have to consult my notes for all the previous Epic games that I've played, but I'm fairly sure that 19 is going to be like the score to beat. And let's say that if you beat 19, or if you equal 19, frankly, and you do it on your own just with one brain instead of a whole team of people that are giving you advice along the way, then you are a world record holder. I'm not sure, as with all of these games, if you do give it a go, I would love to hear how you get on. Message me on Twitter or Instagram if you must, or email or Facebook or Discord. Oh, I should make a Discord for Dwindle. Yes, let me make a Discord channel. But thank you very much, everyone. It has been a delight. This has been a much longer show. Josie asks, will you do another print run of these cards? I don't have a printer for print and play. 100% yes, absolutely. I'm sighing, because I did a Kickstarter for Categorical just before lockdown 2020. It's been a crazy couple of years, hasn't it? And Joseph, don't tell everyone. But Joseph is saying, "Oh, I got 17 on epic mode." But yeah, back to physical stuff. So I am proud of these boxes, and let me actually show that box because that box also has other bits in it. But yeah, like I'm proud of the way that this box turns out with the thumb holes, and then you pull it, and then it just feels like a really nice production. I'm proud of it. I'm Kitty Cataclysm. I'm really happy with it, and I would love to get these games out again in really nice production. And Kitty Cataclysm, I want to make it slightly better so you can actually tell what game it is because it will be written out. And instead of being dark, it will be a bit brighter, and also I would change the numbers of 3 of the cards. And I absolutely want to make another physical print run of these. Categorical. Basically, the manufacturing and logistical aspect of making these boxes is challenging. That's how I can put it. It's challenging. I haven't finished all the art for it, so it's not as if I've got all the art and then, oh, that's the person that I'm doing it with. But when you're doing the art, you want to know what size you're working to. You want to know what format it should be. You want to know these things. And parts of me right now, and I know this is a drastic move, but once I get my payment from Gigamic for Yogi in February, I am seriously tempted. Like, it's just been causing me so much stress. I wanted Categorical to be out and available in 2021, but at this point, I don't know when it will be done. It might be years more, and there are people who are saying, why haven't you done this yet? What's up with that? And I understand their frustration. And for me, from my perspective, when I actually sent out a couple of things for the Kitty Cataclysm sticker thing, like there were a few copies of Kitty Cataclysm. I allowed people in foreign countries to buy it in the USA, and then suddenly, rather than being £5-7 to send a deck like this, it was suddenly, for a while during the pandemic, it was £20, and I was actually losing money on a couple of those things. As in, I would have been better off not on, I would have been better off just not selling it at all and giving them their money back. And that's a really problematic place to be in. I do want there to be very nice editions of the ELL deck. Let me see if I can bring in... I'm going to share a screen. So I've got Miles doing beautiful artwork for Couple. I've got Chris under my direction collaging different public domain biodiversity images and putting them together. And oops, need to take that off. Oops, it's not that screw. Sorry about the lack of technical expertise. But yes, I've got so many ideas for more typefaces, and I am happy with the original typeface, but I want in a few years, I want someone to be able to go into a shop and buy, a natural version that looks like it's all born of trees and scrubs and bushes and all sorts of things. Another one that's like loud and vibrant, and then one that's, like this, and one that's full of collages, and one that in the middle there's all these storybook things. But Yeah, it is the actual logistics of the manufacturing is incredibly problematic. Josie says, I started not backing on Kickstarter if it's not British, as since Brexit, the customs and postage charges come to equal or more than some of the games. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And I had things that arrived, and it's not just about Brexit, it's also about the European Union. You know, they would have changed the rules anyway, because back in the day there was a £20, um, anything less than €20 or £20, it came in for free. But nowadays, no matter the price, you still need to pay customs charges on it, which is a weird thing. And that really hurts the small sellers. Part of my mind, as I was going to say, is thinking, oh, should I just throw in the towel and offer everyone a refund and kind of come back to doing proper nice decks once I'm able? Once I've got the contract in place, once the art's done, because yeah, doing the art in advance of a Kickstarter, I know that's the normal way to be, but that's something that I hadn't done for most of my things. Like in a bind, the original ELL deck, like all of this art was done after the fact. And I do like to think that people who backed the original thing back in 2016, I think it was, and then the original version, it had like quickly drawn things, and then when they got it, it was like properly, each of these letters, I spend an hour or so on it, and like there might be previous drafts, and I do work really hard to think about how exactly is the shape of this R going to be, and it's all hand drawn. I don't know if you can tell, but I part of me is tempted to do a Bezzy bargain bag version of the L deck, which is a step backwards in many ways. And if I were to do that just on principle, I wouldn't be selling it at £5. I would, but just to have something that people can buy right now, even if it's okay, here's category, like I want to, and I need to be better communicative with the Kickstarter backers, but it's just a really difficult thing to work out in my own mind what I'm doing, let alone what I can tell other people that I'm doing. Anyway, I do apologize for belaboring the points. I should probably work it out in. Yep. But. And maybe that is an answer. I mean, the categorical deck, it wasn't quite good enough yet, but do different prototypes and say, yeah, that's a thing. And if you stay on, then I'll give you that version. And it's just something that I sell not through a Kickstarter, but through my shop or at a convention, so that someone who really wants it can buy it. I mean, at least then they could get it. And I know that Vanguard does still have about 30 copies of my games in Poland. Indie Game Alliance still has about 100 copies in the USA, and I still have about 20, 30 copies here. And I don't want to sell all of them. I would like to keep 10 for myself. But if you're at a future convention, come and find me, and there will be something that you can buy at a future convention. Anyway, Jose, I do apologize for rambling on, and I do apologize everyone else for rambling on, but I hope that answers your question. Yes, I will definitely do a print run in some form. Ideally, I will sort out the logistics. Ideally, I've been given 2 more contacts in the past week. That's 2 different manufacturers. I will speak to them and see if they can do what I need them to do. And hopefully I'll have a really strong idea of what I'm doing by the end of next month, let's say, by the end of February. If there's a reason why it can't, I'll probably just say to everyone, look, what would you like to do? Would you like to, if more than half the people, yeah, and at a certain point, I'm probably better off if I was, yeah. I do apologise. Sometimes it can be stressful, and I worry that I'm griping too much. I worry that I'm, yeah, being too much of a moany. But let's, if you've got any other questions, feel free to ask. And at this point, all I want to say is over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. Let's wrap up. It's already been a couple of hours. What are you up to? Is there anything you want to share? I promise you that I care. Something you're looking forward to, something you need to do, something, a hope and ambition, something you want to share about your current situation. Share anything, whether it's fun and frivolous, or whether it's super serious, exciting, trivial, terrible or wonderful. Or maybe it's just fun, maybe it's something you're looking forward to saying, that's something that I've gotten done. Let me know. I am going to have Chris and McCall over in a wee bit. And I'll just see if they've sent me a message. And because I know that I told them to potentially come at 12:30. Okay, yes. I'm going to see Chris and McCall in less than an hour. And then I'm going to make a big stir fry. We'll probably play a couple of games. We might play a couple of prototypes that I'm working on. A game about quickly deciding what cards to draft and then trying to have cards that synergize. That's not the actual name, but it's a name in progress. There's a deduction game about the London Underground, and there's also a game about discussing which objects best match three criteria. And that's a game that's almost ready to get art done to it. And then this is the thing about busy bargain bags, whereas like I did the art for this, and then it took me 2 days, and sure, I didn't sleep much for those 2 days, and I got ill for a little bit, and then I got COVID, which may or may not be because I lowered my immune system, but I did that, and then Chris scanned it and put it all together, and it's just a busy bargain bag. I don't need to worry about the graphics for the box or the instructions or things like that. And it's just something where I can say, yeah, it's £5. I don't need to worry too much about it. Here you go. And I take so much joy because, yes, the busy bargain bags are so that I can offer something of great value to other people, but they are largely, honestly, about lowering my stress. And if I get my act together, then on Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to do the art for 2 more versions of these. And if I want to make a game about discussing things, I'm going to talk to Chris about making some fonts based on my handwriting so that we can not have to write everything, because in Kitty Cataclysm and also in a bind, every card was written as one cohesive thing, and you can sort of tell that each time I draw an A, it's very similar, but it's a different A to all the other A's, and sometimes the way that the words are kind of positioned, it's based on exactly what those 3 words are. And I do think that the word and typography in a bind, it's far more a work of art, if I can say that, compared to Yogi. But of course, Yogi, they had to do that for like 20 plus languages. I've lost track of how many languages. It's more than 20. It's a lot. But yes, Yogi, I think that that's definitely better graphics. But then the writing, do people need that to be all the same? I don't feel they do. So like when there's writing, just use my own writing. Anyway, that's what I'm up to. I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to have a nice chat. I'm going to do some cooking and maybe go out. We'll see what happens. What are you up to? Joseph Kelly says, I'm going for a walk in the park with my friend Rob in a bit. Oh, so presumably not Rob Harper, although maybe you might become friends, but it looks nice and sunny. It is also fairly sunny over here, I'm happy to say. And Joseph says, oh, these games sound interesting. I am happy to hear that. Josie says, collecting partners refurbished camper van tomorrow. Really looking forward to being able to go away in the new and improved old girl. That sounds fantastic. I hope you'll have all of your bargain bags at UK Games Expo, says Josie. Yes, that's ages away. It's not actually that far. It's May, June. But yes, I'm definitely going to have a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after someone makes noises. I've still got a few hundred of them, and if they, I don't see that selling out. The Kickstarter, I had 550 copies, and I think I printed 1,000, and it came in, I want to say 4 boxes, so about 250 each, and I've still got about 350. So it has been my best seller by a strong margin, and I make so much. It's not like I'm making lots of money from it, but I'm selling like 5 games every week, which is a decent amount. Whereas back when I did have In a Bind or the ELL deck or whatever, I wasn't selling that amount, and so it just really feels, yeah. Rob would be up for walking with Joseph Kelly, but yeah, maybe one day. Are you busy bargain bags at UK Games Expo? Yes, absolutely. I'll have as many things as I can have. I will also be trying to have. Anyway, I've got loads of ideas. Watch this space. Come and see me. And yes, I'm going to try and bring more stuff. Last year, 2021, I did run out of a game about wee whimsical creatures and try to identify them after someone makes noises after one day, but that wasn't deliberate. I wanted to take enough to probably have like maybe a couple of copies left at the end. And so I feel like Dragon Meat, I did that almost perfectly because I took 35 copies. It was just a one day thing. It was a bit smaller. And at the end, I had like 2 copies left. And I think I gave them to someone who was helping me or a reviewer. There was some reason that I think one of them I brought back like 5 things out of 7. Anyway, the point is, come and see me, and hopefully there'll be lots of stuff. I can't promise that I won't run out of anything. I'm genuinely not trying to do that as a marketing gimmick, but genuinely, as you get more and more and more things, if I'm going there with like 6 different or 7 different things that I might sell, because I'm hoping that at Aircon I've got like 6+ things, whereas before if it was just In a Bind, it would be like, hey, how many did I take? 200. That seems like a good number. But now it's like, do I take 50 of this, or do I take 70 of this, and do I take 70 of the other, or 100 of that? And I can't take, you can't, going back with an extra 50 of one thing, okay, that's fine. Going back with an extra 100 of one thing, okay, that's fine. But going back with an extra 30 of 6 different things, that's a lot more to carry and a lot more. Anyway, you know what I mean. Rob says everyone except you knew you would sell out at UK Games Expo. Anyway, recap and wrap up before we finish up. So, once more, obviously this has been all about Dwindle, but I don't want to understate the amount of respect and appreciation I have for everyone. I will be getting in touch over the next few weeks to everyone who submitted something. Honestly, like, if you submitted anything and you want some, I need to set up a Calendly thing, and this is when I've got spare times, but if you want to talk about something there and you submitted a game, then by all means, honestly, everyone who submitted a game, not just the top 5, not just the winner, everyone who submitted a game, all of those games had value. All of them were brilliant. And I do want to show some appreciation to everyone. And so everyone, but obviously, the top few folk, I will be getting in touch and say, yeah, if you want to spend about 12 hours over the next year or so, whenever you need it, I will be happy to talk about a game that you're making, or potentially talk to you about whatever, or have you on the show if you want to come onto the show to talk about your thing. And part of the reason why this year I'm not revealing all the other contestants is because at least 3 of them, I would love them to be resubmitted next year. I would love to make it so that, yes, your game about matching the letters on cards and putting them down was brilliant. But if you want to resubmit it exactly like it is, then maybe make a couple of small. I'm not sure that's okay. But if you want to make a couple of small tweaks and try to work on it based on the feedback, like talk to me, we can talk about what could be improved or what were the potential pitfalls, and maybe just play it a few more times and get back to me. And yeah, it's because people talk about games having to be playtested hundreds of times, and I think that's rubbish. I don't think you need to play a game 100 times before you know whether it's good or not. And I think that the better you are at making things, the faster you can go to somewhere where it's 90% of what it needs to be. And then at that point, you're just accelerating and getting to that final bit. I mean, like the London deduction game, played it, and it's a fun thing. It already feels like something that I'm probably wanting to pitch to the relevant company. And yeah, by making people believe that everything needs to be play tested until the end of time, I mean, then you're just not going to get anything made. So no, don't be doing that. But I do want to say, everyone, you've done, everyone who made stuff for the ELL deck, either this year or previous years, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everyone who's contributing to it, like Rob and Rob and Rob. I mean, Rob Harper and Rob Harris and Rob Butler, and literally all the people who've playtested it, and especially David Brain. David Brain's done so much. Like, yes, with Giftable, and with David made a version of Six Nymphs that plays with the ELL deck, and it kind of works. But honestly, at a certain point, I was like, yeah, you'd probably just want to play six. It feels like a worse version of an existing game. But there's and I love David Brain because David Brain made Civilization, where there's cards, but there's also meeples and there's all sorts of other stuff. And Trucking Hell is a game that I'd love to get to publish one day, where it's just got a bunch of extra stuff. This shop needs furniture, and so you can spell out the word sofa or spell out the word chair or table or anything that fits furniture. And it's like a pick up and deliver game where you're picking up and delivering what the shops need, but then you're using the letter cards to construct the things. That it was so many people doing so much work, and Chris, and I just want to say I appreciate you all, and also everyone giving me so much support. But yes, obviously, this is a moment. Congratulations once more. I'm going to put up the banner one last time for Dwindle by Joseph Kelly. This is a fantastic game. Probably within 5-10 minutes of right now, if you go to stuffbybez.com/ELL deck, actually, maybe I will just literally do it right now. So everyone can go and play it if they so desire. I can. Whoops. Brilliant things. What's a little thing which is brilliant? Working together. Do you have anything else to say about working together? And I do apologize that now I'm kind of going through my terrible filing system. 2021 competition, Dwindle 22. Okay, I'm going to upload that, and I will rename it with lots of little things at the start, so it goes up. Okay, so if you go to stuffbybez.com/ELL, which I will put in the comments, stuffbybez.com/ELL. So if you go to this web location, then you should be redirected to a Google directory. And that Google directory will have lots of rule sheets. The top one for now is Dwindle, which is again, this rule sheet is not finished. There are pictures that have to be in there. If you do give it to play, please, please, please let me know what your scores were so that I can sort of set up what a great score is, what a brilliant score is, what a mind-blowing score is for each of the 3 different difficulty levels. You'll also see an info sheet and a letters list, which was when I was doing the roll and write stuff and I wanted to keep track of which letters had come out. If you want to play alphabetical or categorical or couple or fable or grabble or mickle or any of these other things that are part of the core ELL deck games, then please give them a go. Biddable and Invisible were the winners last year. I have to keep working on them. This being the 5th year anniversary, there will be some stuff happening. I'm going to announce it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll commit to that. I will announce some stuff tomorrow. And starting the day after tomorrow, there will be a design competition about Total. So feel free to get your thinking hats on and see if you can make a game that's based off Alex Cannon's Total, which is, I thought, a fun thing. So rather than having just one design competition, we'll have one major design competition where there's the actual prizes, but we'll also have some minor design competition where these designs would not really be valid for the big design competition, because like Total, if you make a game just about that, that's kind of too much riffing off someone else's thing. But I think it's really cool to say, hey, let's do more of a game jam. There's no prize, just and then there's going to be one version where there's going to be 4 other things where you'll just kind of get loads of extra components. And I will, once I get the itch.io stuff up, then I will have it up there. And once I get, I was hoping to be able to donate some money to charity based on sales of the ELL deck, but I don't know if that will happen this year, but we will see. I will think about it and I will announce as much as I can tomorrow. But for now, so much love. Thank you for being here. Yes, that's it. I am stuffbybez.com, stuffbybez.bigcursor.com, twitter.com/stuffbybez, instagram.com/stuffbybez, twitch.tv/stuffbybez, where I'm streaming every day at 10 a.m. UK time. And on YouTube, you can see the old episodes, Discord, stuffbybez.com/Discord. And if you want to see what I'm talking about next, stuffbybez.com/streams will tell you that, for example, looking at my calendar right now, there are some things lined up for the next couple of weeks, and if there's a name, then that means that's a guest. If there's just a number, then I will decide what it's about that morning or the previous day. And also I'm aware that I'm going to probably also next week do a quick episode about teaching games. I will see if I can write some notes. But anyway, lots of love. Share, spread the word. Thank you so much, everyone. You have all been wonderful. Have the best day you can for yourself, for others, for the world. And for now, bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, bye. Bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is the end of the show. Bye bye. Bye bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, Josie. Bye bye, Joseph. Bye bye, Rob. Bye bye, everyone. Have the best day. Bye bye.